and honored guests. Tonight, I'm going to talk about how to start your speech, what the best way is to begin your speech to keep your audience interested. When you start your speech in the right way, the audience will be interested. They'll want to stay. They'll want to hear what you have to say. If you do the right things at the beginning, you'll capture your audience's attention, you'll grab their interest, and they're going to remember what you have to say. In fact, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, you might want to write down some of the things that I'm going to talk about today. This is an educational speech. We don't do them too often, and part of the reason we do them on a regular basis is so that you can learn and get better at what you do on the other speeches. There's criteria for a successful speech. There's 4 criteria that we're going to talk about today. And the first criteria is that you have to get the attention of the audience. You have to grab their attention first. And if you can interest the audience in getting started and listening to what you're about to say, then you're already off to a better start. The thing you should also do, and a lot of people don't do this, is you should introduce the topic of your speech in the beginning of your speech. I've heard speeches go halfway through the speech, and I'm thinking, what is this person talking about? It's not very interesting, is it? But if you can introduce the topic at the beginning, that will get them off to a good point, because now they're listening for how you're going to support that topic. Next thing you want to do is make sure you build rapport. What that means is when you're talking to your audience, are they paying attention to you? Are they involved with you? Are you actually connecting with your audience? And if you are, that's going to make a bigger difference in how your speech comes out. Finally, your beginning of your speech should not be more than 10% of your total speech. So if you're doing a 5 to 7 minute speech, the beginning or the opening of your speech shouldn't be more than about a minute. Let's talk about each one of these individually. Getting the attention of the audience is something that can happen in many different ways. It can happen with, in this case, I did a silly graphic. You could stand up and run around the room. You could, whatever it might be, to catch their attention. Because if you can grab their attention right away, they're going to be looking at you. They're going to be expecting something interesting. Next, is to introduce the topic. And how do we introduce the topic? Well, you want to make sure that your topic is directed at the audience. And if your topic is directed at the audience, and you've picked a topic that hopefully is relatable to the audience, that will make more sense for them. Next, you want to build rapport. And to build rapport, that just means, hello, I'm here, you're here, let's make a connection, let's do something together tonight. Let's walk away with something positive. And the last thing, as I said, is to keep the speech to not more than 10%, the beginning of your speech to not more than 10% of the total speech. Now, how do we do all this? There's seven techniques that I'm going to talk about. First one is to make a startling statement. Wake them up. Next one, tell a story. Next you can have, just ask a question. Give a quotation. And if you want to get interesting, you could, turn the volume down, sorry. There you go. You can use humor. Now, I'm not that good at humor, so I didn't write a funny joke to begin with. I could have told a joke, and some people can. But you want to make sure it's relatable to the speech. And you could also use quotations. You could get the audience involved, ask questions of the audience, have them raise their hands, for instance. And lastly, you could do a demonstration. It depends on the type of speech. Let's take a look at each one of these. Smoking kills more Americans each year than were killed in Vietnam and the World War II and Vietnam combined. Now, if somebody said that at the beginning of a speech, would that get your attention? Sure it would. It's a startling statement. And how would you support it? Well, you'd go about in the body of your speech, you'd support it with, say, 3 main points, and you'd go about and you'd continue. But you would have captured their attention at the beginning. Next is to tell a story. Melina, would you please read this?
Ask the question.
Can you go back?
What did I do?
Back.
Wait, hold on. There it is. Will you briefly read this?
The story is about the devil, the miller, and the girl without hands. I gave a speech on the girl without hands. That's why I was chosen.
That's because you're a
Next
devil.
is to ask a question. Sue, would you please read this?
Do you know what 40% of 60 is?
Oh, listen.
And that could be something that would intrigue people. Sue gave a speech on that as well. Next is you could give a quote. I'm going to read this because it's complicated, but I love it. Eloquent speech is not from lip to ear, but from heart to heart. Isn't that beautiful? Actually, William, you spoke about something like that tonight, which I thought was really eloquent. Next, you could use humor. And again, I'm not that great of a funny person, so I mean, as far as writing jokes, I have a few jokes. In fact, I'm going to tell you one right now. Well, I would. But it has nothing to do with this topic. I'm going to tell you it anyways, because it's funny. A man and a woman are having dinner. The woman says to the man, "If I die, would you remarry?" The man says, "That's kind of a silly thing to say right now. We're having a romantic dinner. I really don't want to talk about that right now." The woman persists, and over the next 3 days, she continues to ask the man the same question, her husband. Finally, after 3 days, the husband says, "Yes, I would remarry if you died." Then she says, "Would you sell our bed?" He says, "No, we've got a perfectly good bed. I wouldn't sell the bed." "Would you sell the house?" "No, the house is fine." "Would you let her use my golf clubs?" The man thinks for a second and says, "Oh, she's left-handed." Now, that's a funny joke. Well, it's not really related to what I'm talking about. So you want to try and make it relatable. Next is to have an audience participation. And that could be something as simple as, let me ask you a question. How many people are interested in learning how to speak better? Great. Audience participation. It could be something simple. It could be something more complex than that. And then we have, finally, demonstration. And if you'll notice here, this boy is demonstrating a little project of his. And that could be something that may be a little bit messy for the but it's an example of a demonstration. And the point is that all of these things are techniques that you can use. So let's have a quick review. The criteria. You want to get the audience's attention, okay, in some way. You want to develop, you want to give them the topic of the speech. You want to develop rapport, and you don't want to take up more than 10% of the speech. And once you get those 4 criteria down, you have 7 techniques. And what are the 7 techniques? Who can read them off to me? Read them off to me. Without even looking.
I have to look.
You have to look. Startling statement.
Starting statement.
Tell a story.
Tell a story. Ask a question. Begin with presentation. Use humor. Audience participation.
And demonstration.
Demonstration.
All of these 7 things, and there's actually more, but these are the 7 that I thought were the most profound, that I've seen that have made a difference in almost every speech that I've ever heard. And if you can incorporate these things into your speech at the beginning, even just 1 or 2 of these, then you're going to have a more successful speech, you're going to connect with your audience, and everything's going to go better. A dynamic beginning is essential for a successful speech. And we've all heard this before. But if you don't do it right, you're going to lose your audience's attention. They're going to go running out of the room mentally. They're not going to be all there. But if you can do it right, boy, you can command an audience. When somebody gets up there and gives a stunning, stellar performance, and they're up there, you walk away and you've learned something. Could be an idea if you listen to a TED Talk. How many people have listened to TED Talks? Oh yeah, they're fabulous. Ideas worth sharing. Hopefully today, I've shared with you a really good set of ideas to help you with your next speech.